You get to university, you're at University of Pretoria. Please just share a little bit about your experience in university, more so studying at the University of Pretoria, because sometimes people who watch these conversations, they want a little bit of insight into, I guess, like the different universities and sort of the feel and what you would get from the experience of being a University of Pretoria student, then continuing on to become an alumni with a B.Ed. Yeah. So your experience there in a nutshell.
Okay, so I get to UP Tax, and lo and behold, we have this beautiful, campus, the Groenkloof campus,
Yeah.
very serene, very intimate. And by that I mean we've got all these residences, quite small, very easy to navigate. Of course, the first few weeks when you've never seen such a big building is quite overwhelming. But I think for me, it really helped that I was in res, and I think we had lots of programs in res that kind of allowed us to kind of orient ourselves. I know orientation week as well, so we're given those opportunities, to kind of understand what it is, what it means to be a student. I think the first year for me was really more about being a student, not even an education student,
Yeah.
but being a student, kind of, and the programs ran, I think, slightly differently than they do now, in that back then, we had the first 3 years, we just, your theory years. So your first, second, third year, you attend your lectures, and no practicals. And only in the fourth year, then you go off to do your practicals. And I think that experience, we had a few frustrations back then, but I think after a while as well, a lot of us and myself, I know with a couple of other people, felt really ready when we're in fourth year, felt quite mature, we felt very knowledgeable, So I think for me, being at the University of Pretoria and the programs that were offered within the education, department were really, you know, they still play a critical role in my professional, development as an educator today, because I think we had a lot of time, extensive, training, extensive ways to do research, all these different, pedagogical, content that allowed us to kind of explore. So I would not know a lot about other institutions, but just my experience. And I do also acknowledge that the programs have probably undergone some changes since then. So I think it's worth really, talking to, yes, people like myself, but also
Yeah.
maybe finding out from the institutions as well what the offering could be. But I definitely know that today, for me, being a tax alumni, it's just getting into spaces where I meet a lot of people who actually went to tax. There's a lot of, familiarity in that regard. And I think for me, it's basically the readiness more than anything, you know. I mean, the fact that I even went back for, my postgrad, it
Yeah.
says a lot as well. So yeah.
So would you say the training that you got as an educator really equipped you to step into the classroom?
I mean, then maybe, but now you just kind of learn, man. I mean, now there's a lot more experience.
Yeah.
No, back
However,
then, if I think
yeah.
of, yeah, I mean, if you think about, let's just look at the critical components, right? Like lesson planning. That was a very big, very heavily emphasized part. I know that, and understanding different philosophies as well and how that relates to, how we are as educators. I think that was really, really emphasizing university. And so going in, first year, first whatever, you just kind of, I think for me, it gave me the confidence because I at least knew what lesson planning looks like, what lesson, different lesson components are. So I do think that it gave me a lot of confidence when I was coming in and stuff. But I do also know and acknowledge as well that there's a lot more that you constantly learn as you, grow into the profession.
I know that right now universities are really trying their best to integrate like some kind of work integrated learning across the different faculties or departments of whatever courses that they do offer. So I don't know if this was the same during your time when you were in university, but I just want to understand if when it came to completing your fourth year, were there people coming in maybe to do presentations around being a novice teacher and stepping into the job market and preparing yourself to look for work and all that kind of stuff. Did you have those sort of programs which sort of equipped you in your job search post fourth year?
That's a very, very good question. And I know as you're posing that, as I'm listening to you, I'm thinking, did I really? I do remember, though, like a lot of opportunities pertaining to working abroad. I definitely remember those presentations. And
Okay.
honestly, I do think that we probably did not have as many opportunities with regards to, the job market within South Africa. And so what the case was because we've built these relationships with our resident sisters, our seniors,
Yeah.
they kind of offered that kind of mentorship, but one very, very deliberate session or something like that. I cannot recall one,
Okay.
but I do think that different departments also did different things. For example, I know the history department would have their own set of, ways in which they could equip the history teacher, and then maybe bring in someone who can explain, that bit. But I can't really point to a time that I said and I felt very confident in my job search. I think the the fourth year, the year of pracs. I'm just trying to think of the actual module. Anyways, the year of pracs, a lot of people, we were always encouraged to, just kind of present ourselves well and kind of, see ourselves as, professionals already. And in that way, you can kind of form those good work relationships with, the schools. And so a lot of people did end up going back to schools or working in schools that they did their pracs in.
Yeah.
Or no, well, if this person was already in that school and they knew somebody else, it was a lot of word of mouth back then as well. So yeah, I do think there's a lot. I do wish there was a lot more done though.
Welcome to our international teaching series, right here on Rewind the Listen. In this exciting series, we are bringing South African teachers face to face with incredible opportunities beyond our borders. From innovative teaching methods to enriching cultural experiences, we are exploring it all. Join us as we chat with teachers who have ventured abroad, sharing their stories, insights, and of course, tips to inspire your own journey. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss an episode.